welcome to Horror Madness with Deb and Dana.
This is a special episode because we did a Facebook Live where we chatted with some of our friends from Carolina Fear Fest 2025. Over Memorial Day weekend, we hit the haunted halls of the Jim Graham building at the North Carolina State Fairgrounds to celebrate all things horror with legends like Alex Vincent and Christina Leese from the Child's Play franchise, Bill Moseley, Otis Driftwood himself. Plus, we saw Malcolm McDowell, John Abrams, Samantha Mathis, and Tracy Lords. The guest list was absolutely killer. We shopped spooky vendors like Wes Flannery, The Deadly Collective, Dead Eds, and Caroline Scareline. We witnessed some terrifyingly good cosplay, watched V. Neil judge an epic special effects showdown, and brace yourself, we took part in a murder mystery dinner like no other, where the audience had to solve the gruesome slaying of a horror movie director. We've got interviews with fans, first-timers, and Fear Fest veterans. So just a little bit of a disclaimer, this episode is pulled right off of one of our lives, so I hope you guys enjoy it, and hope the sound quality isn't too shabby. So we're gonna have some chat time before we start.
So we're doing Curse of Chucky, and we are also doing a little talking about Fear Fest.
Hey Josh! Oh, everything is great. I'm gonna make an official video, but thank you so much, dude.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We just got back from Carolina Fear Fest, so I have been processing content from that, but we're making a video.
Yeah. And we are now, thanks to Josh, an award-winning podcast.
I know! Oh my gosh! Oh, thank you, Josh. He said it's well deserved.
Thank you so much. So I think the biggest thing, I had one of the best weekends of my entire life. I think ultimately it was probably my best and favorite horror convention ever. Just overall with everything.
It was epic. We spent Friday night mostly just catching up with friends and meeting Facebook friends we hadn't met, which was so cool.
Which is one of my favorite things, is to have just enough to drink to be like, hey, we've been friends on Facebook for years. What's up? And it always works out wonderfully. Always, yeah.
It does. It was a good weekend.
Yeah, it was.
It was good. It always is. We have said it before. Our best stories come from Fear Fest, and
man, talk about not disappointing. We had a couple friends come. I don't think they're here. They might be hiding somewhere. That it was their first Fear Fest.
Yes.
And I told them a million times, I was man, I love the convention I love Mad Monster. We always do Mad Monster. It's a thing. We all love it. We have so many friends there. It's wild. And I was just but all of our crazy, amazing, great stories always happen at Fear Fest. And they were fuck, I guess we'll give it a try. They were not disappointed.
Oh, Jason, is this your first Carolina Fear Fest?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. And who brought you here? I'm just kidding. What are your thoughts on Carolina Fear Fest? I know you are an avid con goer.
I had a great time with I collect signatures for latex masks, and I was able to walk right up and get them, and I actually got a record number of signatures at this event versus the previous 10 events that I've ever been to.
Oh, that's amazing. So it's a pretty great con.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Oh, yes, I'm having a fantastic time. The lines are short here. It's easy to get to everybody. It's easy to talk, to have fun. That's more personal. This show's been a blast. The hotel's a blast. It's low-key, very easy to go around. My buddy Jason, at the last second today, bought a Michael Myers mask, and in 10 minutes, he had Nancy Loomis and Malcolm McDowell sign his mask that he just bought 10 minutes ago. I was most excited about Nancy Loomis. because I have a Halloween wall where I have a lot of pictures of me with the actors and actresses in the Halloween movies. So just excited to have a picture with her. I also got the picture with Alex Vincent and Christine from Child's Play, and I had gotten a picture at a different event with Brad Dourif and Fiona Dourif. So I've got my Child's Play knocked out now. Very happy about that.
Did you come back to Carolina Fear Fest?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. It's a great time.
What is your favorite scary movie?
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Honestly, it's Halloween. The original 1978 version. I've been a fan of it since I was way young.
There's two questions I always ask, and one of them is the one I just asked. What's your favorite scary movie? The other
Right.
one is, what is, in your opinion, the scariest movie? Because they can be different than your favorite.
That's true. That's true. I tell you, one of the creepiest movies I've ever seen is D. Snyder's Strangeland. That is, it's scary. It's just so twisted that you're just like, this guy is something. Kind of crazy.
That is a good answer.
My name's Tanner. Yeah, I didn't think these things were real. I just only thought people that were like on YouTube had them shit. So I've never seen one.
they're real shit.
That's pretty cool. Yeah,
I know. I feel crazy though that it's like a little square microphone. It's weird.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's really weird. Is this your first Carolina Fear Fest?
Very first, yeah.
Have you ever been to any convention?
Not a single one. Not any convention, anything. Yeah,
Oh wow. Are you a big fan of horror? Or you're just casual?
I am, yeah. I've always been a big fan of scary movies. Just remember, like, as a kid being fucking traumatized by, like, Jeepers Creepers and, like, Halloween and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, always been a big fan of horror. It's cool being my first, like, convention and seeing all the, like, big shit fucking actors. That's cool as fuck.
Is there anybody you're most excited about being here?
No, I came in blind. Like, Dallas bought my ticket and was like, hey, you showing up? I saw the banjo kid from Deliverance. That was awesome. I had no idea. Yeah, no, it's just been awesome. Yeah. But I didn't know, like, fucking Andy from Child's Play's here. Like, it's a lot of surprises.
It's a lot of surprises. It's a little overwhelming at first.
Yeah.
Would you come back to another convention?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Come back to Fear Fest?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, now I'm here with Alex. Alex, what Fear Fest is this for you? What number?
Number 5.
Number 5. Oh, every single one.
No, there's 6, aren't there? Oh, we're less than that.
Yeah.
4.
What is your favorite thing about horror conventions? We've been to several together. What?
About in general or this one?
In general, your favorite thing about
My
horror
favorite thing about horror conventions in general is all of the amazing panels that I don't get to see.
Who at this particular Carolina Fear Fest were you most excited to see? Is there somebody you picked? Was it me? What was I the person you were
Yes.
most excited to see?
You and Dana are the only reason I came.
That's a lie.
It's a half lie.
It's a half lie.
It's 50% true.
It's 50%.
Right. You know, because truth is not absolute.
Yeah, that is
It's percentages.
So was there a celebrity you were most excited to see? Or
Yeah, Samantha Mathis. Yeah. You should watch the thing called Love. It's with her and River Phoenix.
Oh.
That's what
R.I.P.
That's what I like about her.
I loved River Phoenix. So, I'm going to ask you the 2 questions I ask absolutely everybody.
Okay.
What movie scared you the most, either now or even as a child? Like, what is the scariest movie that you can remember?
The Child's Play. I saw that in the theater, and it scarred me for life, kinda.
And you were probably way too young to see it.
Yeah. No. I mean, we our parents didn't give a shit, but you know, I saw like Sleepaway Camp when I was like 4, but I was about the same age. It was about the same time. Child's Play has scarred me to this day because I'm an adult. I'm 42, and I promise I'm not lying or exaggerating. I do doll checks.
Do you really?
I do doll checks.
That is amazing.
And I tell people that, and they laugh because it is funny.
But also, that's kind of sad.
Not really. It doesn't really take up that much time. It was like consuming and like ruining my life. Yeah, it's just kind of funny. You know what I mean?
And what is your favorite scary movie?
Right now or all time?
Ooh, let's do all time, and then let's do right now.
The scariest movie I've ever seen.
No, your all-time favorite.
Oh.
Because it can be different than the scariest movie you've ever seen.
I think, honestly, my favorite's Black Christmas.
Okay.
The original Black Christmas, not the they remade it a couple more times. The Black Christmas is the scariest movie to me, my favorite scary movie, because they made 100,000 scary movies. They've never made one where the killer, you don't ever know who it is, what their motivation is, and they get away at the end.
Yeah.
It's like they might as well not have existed. So people get all excited about The Exorcist and shit, about some little girl spitting pea soup. There's 3 voices on this telephone at the same time that are coming from inside the house, which is way before, when a stranger calls. That is horrifying, because the reality is that there's people like that probably. They're just out there.
Oh, gosh. Those are the things that scare me the most, are things that can actually happen.
What makes Black Christmas amazing is not only is it horrifying, but it's beautiful and it's scary and realistic.
Okay, and then what is your current favorite?
Current favorite horror? Yeah, the one that scared me the most recently was Daddy's Head. Scared the living shit out of me. It's like the scariest movie I've seen in years.
I am here with Teresa, and we met at a different convention where she had an awesome granny cosplay with Chucky, and it was wonderful, and she might have been one of my favorites there. So, is this your first Carolina Fear Fest?
It is, yes,
is?
it is. I love
Alex brought you,
Yes.
or you came to see Alex.
Yes, I came to see Alex and Christine.
Oh, you know them before?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Awesome.
yes.
Is there anybody else you were most excited to see?
I basically just knew they were coming back to North Carolina and just hung out.
Have you enjoyed Carolina Fear Fest so far?
I have loved it. It has been amazing.
Do you think you'd come back? I know
Yes.
you go to a lot of cons.
I will. I will definitely be back.
So what is it that keeps you coming back to cons over and
The
over?
community,
That-
the togetherness.
I think that's what keeps us coming back.
Yes.
Is the people we meet, the friends we make.
Yes, the laughter you have throughout the night.
It's,
I mean, look, we're at prom.
and neither one of us ever went. And
No.
It's just beautiful, and everybody coming together. And
It is wonderful.
what is your favorite scary movie?
My favorite scary movie right now has to be Final Destination Bloodlines.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
What is, in your opinion, the scariest movie?
Scariest movie, The Conjuring.
They
Just
were
the whole
filmed over by you,
series,
weren't they?
yes.
Yeah. Have you been to that house? We've wanted to go.
No,
but-
not yet. Just
Oh.
everything with the paranormal and supernatural to me is very scary.
Brian, I know you and Sue were at Frightmare, but
And I'm sure you guys had a great time. And I'm also sure you would have had a better time at Fairfest. No doubt.
I got to get Bill Moseley's autograph, and I only vaguely remember talking to him for, I don't know, 20 minutes.
Yeah,
It was a long time.
We were deep into conversation. I was looking around and I was like, oh, there's no one else around. I guess we're just gonna keep talking to Bill Moseley.
I also was not at all prepared to meet Bill Moseley on Friday night, but we were just walking around and there was zero line, and I was like, meh. I'm gonna go do this while there's not a line, and it was
one of the rare ones where I was like, I know this is gonna be great, and it was.
it was.
And we had done about maybe 10 or 11 takes of that scene. Each time we had to clean up glue and, put some more blood in the pump, and a couple of times it was obvious that we couldn't use the scene because when I was banging, the hammer would bend because it was foam rubber with a little coat hanger. And so, finally, we'd done maybe 12 takes. We were hot. It was like, come on, Jesus. And finally, we did a good take, and Toad goes, yeah, that was great. Let's just do one more. And I looked at him and I said, Toby, am I doing something wrong? I was getting a little miffed. Am I doing something wrong? And he goes, oh, hell no, Bill. I'm just having fun watching you. And that, to this day, has been the greatest compliment as an actor I've ever been paid. So, God bless Toby Hooper.
We're just chit-chatting a bit about Fear Fest and how fucking amazing it was.
And then doing the actual podcast.
Tonight, we are talking about Curse of Chucky from 2013. It was directed by, Don Mancini, because he directed all of them. And it is starring, of course, Brad Dourif, Fiona Dourif, with appearances by Jennifer Tilly and Alex Vincent.
Important people.
Important people. I don't know. Jennifer Tilly's pretty important to me.
Well, I wasn't kidding at all. Like, Jennifer and Alex are both insanely important people to me.
Yeah.
I mean that, like, for real. FR.
So, we watched it this week, and it was my first time watching Curse of Chucky. Like I said before, I stopped watching after Bride, and then we recently did an episode on Cult of Chucky, and I guess we're just going to do it backwards, like...
Well, so that was the thing I was saying, like, is this going to be our 20th episode?
21. 21.
So 21, this is our second Chucky movie.
Yeah.
So I do really, really want to do the original Child's Play, like, super bad. But I'm like, we gotta wait, like, 20, 30 episodes before we have another Chucky. But
Fair. I want to start off by saying I absolutely love the aesthetic of this movie.
Yeah.
The colors, the light, the score, it's really beautiful, and it leans more into a gothic horror than camp of some of the other movies.
Well, so I think this is the back to its roots movie.
Absolutely.
The original. If you want to dispute me saying that it is one of the biggest masterpieces of horror, I will be happy to argue that with you for hours if need be. But like, it is a great movie, whether it was horror or not. Like, it is an excellent movie all around.
It really is. We recently watched it.
Yeah.
We recently rewatched it. It had been the first time for me in like 10 years.
Yeah, same. And I was like, I didn't remember that this was like a legitimate, real movie. I thought it was like always a kind of low budget campy movie, and then I was like, oh my god, I was so wrong. This is like the original. The original. I was like, oh my god, this is like a legit ass movie. Like, it's not just some low budget horror movie. 2, I haven't seen, and I don't remember it at all. We have watched 3 more recently.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3. It's fine. And then we've got campy craziness,
which I do love. Which I love.
Yeah.
I love Bride of Chucky. I have not seen Seed. I love Bride of Chucky. I love camp. I love craziness.
We're gonna have to watch that because it needs to be seen. So it's even campier and crazier than Bride.
Yes.
And then out of nowhere, Don Mancini is like, "Nope, we're going back to our roots and doing a real ass movie that like." It's low budget, but it's like low budget on the real film spectrum. It was like $5 million to make, and it grossed $3.8 million ish. I guess that's my research, which is probably wrong because I'm always wrong about everything. Never forget that. Seed of Chucky also did terrible. I'm not quite exactly sure how Chucky movies keep coming out because they always do bad.
Well, that was the thing.
Except for the original.
Curse didn't even get a theatrical release.
Right. But it should have. It is a theatrical level. We watch so many movies in theaters that are much worse than this. Like, much worse. Like, yeah.
It is actually like a really, really beautiful movie.
There's plenty to say wrong. There's a lot to nitpick for sure, but like at the same time, I mean, there's some Marvel movies that aren't as good as this.
Yeah.
Like 1 or 2. And that's in my opinion.
So we get our first shot of Fiona Dourif as Nika, and then there is Felix from Orphan Black delivering a package. Jordan, I don't know if it's Javaris or Gavaris. I have heard it said both ways, but I adore him.
Yeah, no. That was, my second favorite character from Orphan Black, which we obsessed on a few months ago and like watched it, all of it from beginning to end. And
That's like my third watch.
I had never seen it, and I was like, no, I was wrong. I love this. My best friend and my wife were both like, no, Orphan Black's great. And I was like, I never bothered to watch it, so I finally did, and I loved it, and I love Felix. Didn't recognize him. Deb pointed it out. I had no clue that it was him at all.
So when we watched it the other night, whatever night it was, I didn't pick up on it, and then tonight I was just like, I know that face. Oh my God, that's Felix.
So then we get the first. We're just starting this movie.
Yeah,
it is barely rolling,
mm-hmm.
and we get the first ridiculous thing of the movie, which I think might be the most ridiculous thing of the movie, which was her mom being like, he was just being nice, and Fiona being like, I think you're Fiona. You're like one of the most beautiful women on the planet. Everyone that's ever spoken to you, at minimum, wanted to hit on you.
Not even spoken to you, just saw you.
Yeah,
like
those her mom
eyes.
is like, oh, you ugly monster. How dare you think someone would hit on? Come on, that is beyond suspension of disbelief.
Well, her mom is dealing with her own issues.
Yeah, she was on so many painkillers that she can't tell that her daughter's Fiona Dorff. Who's also like the same age as her mom. Both sisters and the mom are like all within like a couple years of each other, which was a bit of a wild choice.
So, yeah, Felix is delivering a package that looks about to be the size of a Chucky doll.
Yeah, no one would have guessed.
No, never.
How would you guess that?
How would you guess that?
It's a Curse of Chucky. That package is looking kind of familiar. Like that's been in almost every movie.
Yeah.
Not every movie, but almost every movie.
And then we move to like a disembodied scream. I do love all the shots of the outside of the house with the rain. Every time somebody dies, they shoot the outside of the house and it's raining. But I kind of love it.
Yeah, no, the cinematography and the just vibe of the movie is good. It was a bit claustrophobic because, like, you know, like 90% of the movie is inside the house.
Yes.
Which is a bit unusual for a movie of its caliber. And I say that, but it's not of its caliber. It was a made-for-TV movie that wasn't supposed to be...
Which is...
Yeah, like that's crazy. Like, I don't understand why they wouldn't have released it in theaters.
I don't either.
It's a legitimately upper decent movie. Like, it's pretty damn good.
I think the creepiness factor in this movie is kind of top notch. I mean, it goes with the aesthetic, and I don't know, there's lots of creepy little things. Then we move into the opening credits, and I love the toy piano.
I always pay so much attention to the score because I'm really into scores, and like that's kind of my thing right now. And I think that is also a big bonus, really, to this movie. Is I didn't pay attention. We watched it twice in the last couple days, and I never paid attention to the score.
It was pretty. It was really
I think
well done.
that's not in a bad way. I think it's that the movie was so good, I was too busy watching the movie to actually listen to the score, which so that means it's forgettable. But it also means that like the movie's so good, I couldn't be offended by the score.
I purposefully tried to pay attention tonight, and it was a pretty well done score. But the score fits in so well with the movie. It's almost like a whole experience. You don't just be like, oh well, the movie sucked, but the score was good, or the score sucked, but the movie was good.
Which
like
happens.
it all.
Which happens all the time.
It all fed into each other very well.
Properly.
Yeah. The score in this movie was done by Joseph LaDuca. So after, I didn't even say, Nika's mom died, We don't know how. That was the disembodied scream I mentioned. Like, you don't... I say disembodied because it's showing the outside of the house and there's a scream and then there's a body put to it. It's her mom.
So I think almost immediately after this, we get the little title card.
Yeah.
I loved that title card. I think the majority of the time, like, the title card is just a title card. But that one was just like, it was like a setup for a perfect poster.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was a banging title card.
Again, everything in this movie, like, it was like puzzle pieces. Like, that it all fit together.
Well, mostly.
Mostly. Okay, well. Dana sounds like he's about to prove me wrong.
So, it's weird. I feel like if you're talking, like, lower budget passion projects, all you can do is love them. You know what I mean? Like, you know, stuff went wrong sometimes, and like something's not perfect. That's perfectly fine. I feel like this is just partially because of it being such a good movie. I feel totally justified in talking any shit that I can pick apart from it at any point in time because it's such a good movie.
I don't have a lot of shit to talk about this movie. So Nika's mom is killed. And Mika's sister shows up with a priest, and there's like a little bit of foreshadowing with the sunflower. She's throwing away her mom's paints and paintings, and there's a big sunflower that comes back, and you're like, why'd they zoom in on that sunflower? I don't fucking know.
Well, I mean, ultimately, I don't know why there's so many sunflowers in this movie. I don't think it matters or means anything. That's a thing to pick apart right there. Like,
it's the flower he brought her.
Only in this movie.
I know,
they
because
make like a huge deal about it, like it's like a thing in Chucky, and like it's not.
We got a little bit of backstory on Charles Lee Ray. So she's talking to her sister, and her sister's a bitch.
Oh yeah. So that's the thing. There's so many assholes in this movie.
Oh, there's so many assholes.
Which, you know, is always a thing that denotes poor writing. But the priest is an asshole, the sister's an asshole, Chucky's an asshole. It's like, how many complete assholes do you need in one movie?
I don't think Chucky counts as an asshole, because he's just Chucky.
But
I mean, he doesn't count as an asshole.
He doesn't count as poor writing.
So, her sister comes in, and her sister's a bitch. Yeah. And wants to put her in assisted living, which I'm just like, she's still perfectly capable. like more capable than you. She's still alive, and you're dead.
In
like
her 20s?
Yeah.
She was pretty damn young for her sister to be trying to put her in assisted living and capable.
Yeah, and she proved that. I mean, like I said, her sister's dead. She's not. Who's more capable? So, I will say that I'm not going to say her name right. Danielle Basutti does a really good job as Barb. She's very unlikable, which kind of denotes good acting. Yeah. And everything she says is so passive-aggressive. Oh my gosh. Every time she speaks, I just want to kick her in the teeth.
Yeah. The acting performances in this movie, in my personal opinion, are wildly good for the level of movie that this is. Like, they're almost on par with the original level of acting with Prince Humperdinck.
Chris Sarandon!
Yeah, Chris frickin' Sarandon and stuff. Like, yeah, like it was on par.
It really was. So, Fiona's proven her point that she is capable and is like, I will make dinner for all of you. And her sister's like, you'll make dinner for 6 of us? And I'm like, her arms work. She can chop food and prepare food. I don't know. And you see these adorable little Chucky hands. They're so cute. Putting rat poisoning in one of the bowls, like a little extra cheese, like some Parmesan, a little garnish.
And we get the Russian roulette scene, the Russian roulette of rat poison. So they like do an beautiful overhead shot of the bowls that rotates like cylinders of the
and there's 6 of them,
and we don't know who's gonna get poisoned, and And then like there's multiple gotchas with the oh my god, this is so good.
And then
the
this
little
tastes
girl.
funny.
Yeah.
But then you see this beads of sweat on the priest's head. But then they're eating chili, so it's like, is he dying or is he just shit his
you
pants?
still don't know for sure.
Like,
or does he have a appointment to go to?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he was about to poop his pants, bro. But you know, I don't know.
I had to see a man about a horse.
Yeah, it was a weird exit. Also, like, you know, rat poison doesn't work that way.
No.
You sprinkle a little rat poison in somebody's food, like the next day they're gonna be like, my tummy's a little upset. But you know, suspension of disbelief. There is several moments of suspension of disbelief in this movie that I think, you know, I've seen it 3 or 4 or 5 times at this point, and like until taking notes, for the most part, my disbelief was suspended, and like, you know, like, good job.
That priest didn't make it too far.
Yeah, well, and then died in a ridiculous way. But it's a good gore.
It is good gore.
It's a good gore scene.
The decapitation of the priest and him being alive. Also, like, if his spinal cord was already completely severed,
yeah,
like,
he wouldn't be.
none of that happens that way.
So I was telling Dev earlier, like, there was that thing that happened, horrible, real thing that happened where the guy got cut in half with a train in New York, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, he was perfectly fine for, like, hours, and they were like, but when we moved the train, like, everything's going downhill.
Yeah.
So, like, they tried to do that same thing, but with a head, and it's just like, yeah, no, if you completely sever someone's spinal cord, they're not going to be still talking to you, and, like...
Yeah, but it was good gore.
Yeah, it was.
And the other thing I didn't understand is his hand was also...
just to suspend that disbelief.
Like, the hand, like, it wasn't...
Hold that rosary up at the same time, I don't know. Yeah, but
it was good gore. It was good gore.
And it was also, like, a good shot.
And back at the house, they're just watching home movies.
Oh, that's the thing I wanted to point out. Credit to Don Mancini. He's excellent at picking child actors. Or whoever picked the child actors, and then he directed them and stuff. Like, you know, like 2 for 2 as far as I'm concerned on, like,
well, 3 had child actors in it.
They were older. They were like teenagers.
Yeah, they were. They were.
So, like, that's like, yeah, it's still child actors.
They're
but, like,
children to me.
But, like, 2, like, super young actors that, like, didn't ruin the movie because they were so young is a pretty rare thing.
No, the little girl that played Alice did a really good job. So they're back at the house and they're watching home movies. And in the background of the home movies, you get a shot of Charles Lee Ray.
Yeah, looking like Tommy Wiseau. Which is weird. I guess, I don't know. Was The Room? It's 2015. That's like The Room tied.
Oh, it was.
Maybe it was on purpose.
Yeah. But, little fun fact, it was the first time that Brad Dourif had been on camera as Charles Lee Ray since the first movie.
Yeah. Which is cool.
Which is really cool. And also we learned it was the first time he had been on set with Don Mancini. Because everything else, Don Mancini wasn't there for the filming of the first one, and everything else Brad Dourif did was the voice acting, so it was in the studio. So it was the first time he was on set with Don Mancini.
So I think that kind of brings me to one of my biggest downsides. And again, like, you know, I've watched every Chucky movie multiple times. Yeah, no, every one of them multiple times. The plot is thin. So, like, I don't fully remember every moment of every Chucky movie ever made, but I feel like I could be wrong. But I think the whole plot of this movie is a whole thing that has never been brought up before. That, like, is just like some neighbors of Stevie Ray Vaughan's. I mean,
Charles Lee Ray.
yeah, Charles Ray, whatever, same. It's a bit thin. It's a bit thin.
They kind of tie it. They do a little mopping.
Yeah, they tie everything together properly, but it's just like
At that point, you're just like,
here we are in the 5th, 6th movie, and then here's this whole new thing that started everything.
So my issue with that is she was like, who was that? Because she hadn't been born yet. Nika had not been born yet. She was like, oh, who's that? And the girl's like, oh, I guess just some neighbor. I don't know. He used to pick her up from school. Who knows how long her mom had been kidnapped? He was like, I'm going to pick her up from school. She wouldn't remember?
Well, she was a little...
I know, but still, if somebody picked you up from school every day and held your mother captive in a room...
Well, I feel like...
For what seemed like weeks.
I would say that if I was like, 4 or 5 years old and Tommy Wiseau picked me up from school every day, I probably wouldn't remember that.
But
And then one day somebody would be like, yeah, you don't remember the dude who directed The Room picked you up from school? I'd be like, no, I was like 4. I don't remember that.
So, as they're watching the videos, the home videos, little Alice comes in and she's like, I can't find Chucky. And they're all looking for Chucky. And that's when you find out. So the whole time leading up, they're trying to lead you to believe that the dad is having an affair with the nanny.
Yeah.
And then you find out it's not the dad.
Well, yeah, that's the Shyamalan.
Yeah, okay.
That's the Shyamalan.
Okay, YouTube guy.
Yeah.
Then they find Chucky. And there's a whole heartwarming moment of trying to do character building. The Chucky doll pops up next to the dad. And they find it. And she's like, I think she wanted you to find it. And he's like, I haven't been spending much time with her. But the character building doesn't really even hit home. Like, it's just kind of like, meh.
Well, I don't know. I think that the writing is fine. I love Don Mancini.
I love Chucky movies.
I love Chucky movies. Are they the best written and directed movies apart from the first one? No.
The ones I have seen are all enjoyable. I loved 1. 2 was enjoyable. 3 was fine.
3 sucked. 3 was terrible.
It was fine. It was
so
fine.
That was a thing that always bothers me. They go so hard in every Chucky movie, being like, remember the military school? Here's a sweater. Here's a diploma. Here's some other stuff. Everything. And it's like, you could just forget that horrible movie happened and it would be fine. I don't think there's a fan of Chucky who's like, 3. The only one I give any... I only care about that terrible one that they went to military school and it wasn't Alex Vincent.
So, Nika says she's going to bring the doll upstairs, and this scene's kind of important. It might seem unimportant, and why am I mentioning it? She gets in the elevator, and they focus on this Chucky doll so hard. And the lights go out, and she's ringing her help bell, and you hear a knife swipe. And all of a sudden, the lights go on, and his head spins around 180 degrees, and he laughs, and it's kind of a... So, there's a lot of almost jump scares in this movie. The head spinning around, and him laughing, and the lights coming on, and...
I don't think any of those count as jump scares. I don't think
they
ever
tried.
Did like, music... And really there was
no, they did.
It was regular scares.
The Chucky laughing was kind of like a. You got the Brad Dourif cackle, which is there's not a cackle in the world like that one.
Yeah, for sure. It's just a scare. It's not a jump scare.
It's not a boo.
Yeah, it's not a boo. Don't know.
So Nika is clearly disturbed by this Chucky head spinning around. And she comes out of the elevator, and there's little girl Alice, and the Chucky head spins all the way back around the right way, and she is not at all. She said, "Ha, I didn't know you could do that, Chucky." I'm like, that, if I was a 6-year-old, that would have scared the ever-living shit out of me.
Yeah. Yeah, and dolls from the 80s can't do that.
Yeah. No.
I mean, like, they can't really do that.
You ever have a
even
My
now,
Buddy? And
but-
My Buddy couldn't turn his head around like that.
No, I mean, that would require, like, servos and motors and, like, all kinds of crazy gears and stuff.
So, after that moment, Nika starts trying to figure out where this doll is from. Because all of a sudden, she's like, that fucking doll's head spun around. Who mailed this to my mother? And she finds out it's from dun dun dun, an evidence depository.
Oh.
And she starts researching on an internet search.
Yeah, literally.
Internet search.
Not Google, not Ask Jeeves, not anything in the internet.
What was
Uppercase internet, lowercase search, I
Yeah.
believe, was the engine that she was using. I feel like in 2015, like, Yahoo would have been like, yeah, we'll give you $20.
Bing?
Put her name in there.
Bing?
Yeah.
After she finds out that he's from an evidence depository, she does her internet search. And meanwhile,
www.internetsearch.com.
the babysitter is video chatting with mom. The mom sees Chucky scurry.
No,
Across
she
the
doesn't
screen.
see him.
The mom does.
No, she doesn't, does she?
She
doesn't
thinks
see him.
it's the daughter, and she's like,
Oh.
and she's like, Alice is awake. And the babysitter looks, and it's not Alice. It's Chucky. Bet you would never guess that. And there is this drip droppy rain bucket, and Chucky has a knife in his hand, and you think he's gonna stab her, but he doesn't.
So, I cook for a living. I own a lot of knives. My nicest, shiniest knife can't reflect like a mirror.
Oh.
And in this movie, and it's in other Chucky movies too, like, knives just don't reflect like that. They're
No.
not straight up perfect mirrors that
No.
reflect better than reality at any point.
Oh, he has the knife, but he doesn't stab her. He kicks the water bucket over and electrocutes the fuck out of her. And it's kind of, it again is another cool kill, like, but also unrealistic.
It is
like,
another
her
suspension of
eye
disbelief.
is just slowly, like, getting worse and worse and worse and
Well,
worse.
it was kind of cool, but
It looked really cool.
like, for one, there's no power outlet at the foot of anyone's bed. and
Oh, in
any-
old houses there are.
Like, still, like, she gets electrocuted through the keyboard of her laptop,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous and is, like, not how anything works.
So, also, all the power flickers, but the internet doesn't. She's still searching.
It'd be real weird, Deb,
What?
if, let's say, we had an au pair, and you're asleep in our bed, and I decide I'm going to video sexy chat the au pair who is with our child. And I'm sitting an inch from you, and she's sitting an inch from the child, and we are 6 feet apart. If you and the child are asleep, why would we video chat? I mean, you're fully and completely confident that they're asleep on both sides. Like, just go to the next room and, like, talk.
Also, just go to another room of the house. Like,
Yeah, and there's just so many.
you're in
better
a
options.
huge mansion.
Yeah,
I gotta go get a drink of water.
yeah. There's just so many options that would have been, like, made
Better.
just made sense.
Yeah, but then Chucky couldn't have electrocuted her.
Well, I know, and it's a alright kill.
So, now Chucky's just letting loose. Chucky's just running around doing what Chucky does.
So that's a wild thing with this movie being back to serious. There were a few jokey Chucky clips. But there wasn't enough, and there was too many, both at the same time. So, like, it's trying to go back to its roots, which had the quips.
Yeah.
So, like, just have them. Like, he only has, like, maybe 3 lines of a little jokey quip in the whole movie, which is kind of wild.
Yeah. So there was this whole thing, which I skipped over, but it's kind of important, I guess. She's sexy chatting, and the babysitter gets killed. Mm-hmm. And so she tries to go check on the babysitter, and her husband wakes up.
Yeah, which he didn't seem to really be asleep the whole time. But,
and she's like, I gotta go check on our daughter.
That's when we get Shyamalan.
She's like, I gotta go check on her. And he was like, oh, which her? And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean? And
he's like, M. Night, ho.
So then he puts in earplugs.
That just goes back to sleep.
And goes back to sleep. He's like, fuck you, bitch. I don't want to hear your passive-aggressive bullshit anymore.
So I feel like that was a thing I was struggling with, trying to decide myself, which I feel like Don just didn't worry about it. So, like, he put a camera on Chucky.
Yes, he put a nanny cam on her.
I am certain in Bride and Seed, Chucky would have been like, what the fuck are you doing? And thrown it across the room. So Chucky chose to keep it there because he knew it was there.
He knew
so it was a little bit of malevolent evil that he was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll just keep it on.
Yeah.
But like, he couldn't have really known what was how. He wasn't involved in everything.
I think he was like, let's see how this shit plays out. He's like, this could be funny.
In any other movie, he would have immediately taken it off and thrown it across the room.
There's a fun little dick joke.
Which one?
She's looking for a little girl in the attic, and she just found out that Chucky had a nanny cam, and he told her it was in the doll, and she's like feeling on his thing, and it was a dick joke.
Oh.
When she was like measuring it.
I didn't not get that. I didn't take it that way.
I didn't until we were watching.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but
no,
like,
I didn't until we were watching the YouTube videos, and I was like, "What is she doing?" And she was like, "It was like coming up his stomach like an erect."
Oh.
And she was like,
"Well, so like both times."
And it was the knife.
Yeah, I thought it was the nanny cam.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
what you're
turned
supposed.
out to be the knife.
Yeah, but it was coming up from.
Yeah, that went over my head.
It was a funny little dick joke where.
Wasn't funny to me because I didn't get it.
So. She has the Chucky doll and she's yelling at Nika, "You knew this was in him," and Nika was thinking she knew he was possessed. And the sister was like, "You knew there was a nanny cam and you didn't tell me?" And sister runs upstairs to the attic and feels up on Chucky's knife.
So did you recognize, like I did this second time, how much that attic stairway to the door was Beetlejuicean?
Yes.
Yeah, it was very. So like, yeah, it looks a little bit different, but it also felt like it was very Beetlejuice-like.
It was.
Oh, this is about where we are, where they chop his head off.
Almost, because I want to talk about the only CGI scene in this movie that you didn't catch, which means that's probably pretty well done.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
there is one CGI scene in this movie.
There's so little CGI that the offensive CGI for a couple seconds I didn't even notice because I just assumed it wasn't because there's so little CGI.
So I think they always go hard on Chucky, and Brad and Fiona Dorr have talked about it in their panel about how Chucky is all practical. Like, He is a puppet. He is an animatronic. He is an actual little terror running around sets, which has to be kind of fun. Like, a little pint-sized terror. They do use CGI in one scene, and it's when Chucky is chasing Nika down the stairs of the attic after he kills Barb. And they tried to shoot it practically first, but it wasn't, they said it was not believable with the stunt double, so they reshot it with CGI. But it wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Just absolutely didn't even notice.
It is also brief, and they don't focus on it. After he chases her down the stairs, he tries to murder Nika with a running car and swallows the key. But he's a doll.
Who doesn't have a neck or a throat or.
He swallows the key. And
then,
she's so mad at him. I'm like, just pop his fucking head off.
And then gets his head knocked off that clearly you couldn't, so the key's just in his mouth still because he has no way to swallow. I don't understand why you would show him swallowing something and then immediately be like, well, he couldn't have done that.
I guess it never shows her try to get the key because she immediately has a heart attack and gets tied up. Chucky runs Ian over with the wheelchair and he murders him in the face. Right in the face with an axe. And this one might be my favorite kill of the movie. And he's got his little Chucky line where he was like, tell the missus hi, and he chops his jaw off and it's like, or don't. And that's where Chucky gets decapitated. And it's just a doll head. So where did the fucking key go? And Chucky puts his head back on and tries to murder Nika again and pushes her over the rail. But she doesn't die. And she looks at him and says, you're Charles Lee Ray.
Stevie Ray.
And you get this whole backstory with Chucky's connection to the family where he kidnapped Nika's mom after her dad died and he brings her all these sunflowers all the time. And then she calls the cops. And when he finds out she calls the cops, I assume he stabs her? And that's how she becomes paraplegic? It doesn't show anything, but she's like...
think about that.
She's like, you did this to me? And he's like, it's what you and your mom did to me. And then after he does whatever he does, which I'm assuming is stab her, he runs to hide in this toy store, and that's when the cops are chasing him at the beginning of the original movie, and we all know the story from there. But it's a loose tie-in. I think it's very loose. It's like, here's this great movie that has nothing to do with any of the other movies. Oh, but look!
Yeah, it's weird. And then they go back to not as campy as the last two, but back to campy in the next one.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a bunch of weird decisions. Anyway, then we get the beautiful Miss Jennifer Tilly for a second, doing the same thing she does in the next movie, but it's not the same footage, and I thought it was. It is the same thing, but completely different. And then the movie's over. The movie's already been over.
The movie's done.
And then we
Nika
get
goes down for the murder of everyone.
We get post-credit scenes that aren't really post-credit scenes. And then you have to wait an unbelievably long time for an actual post-credit scene. Way before post-credit scenes were a thing, so I imagine no one saw the post-credit scene because it was way before anybody was waiting for a post-credit scene after a movie. So I think Alex Vincent got robbed.
But it was a good introduction back to Andy Barclay.
Yeah. Our boy, Alex.
So, in this after credit scene, 6 months later, Chucky gets shipped to Andy. And he's on the phone with his mom, and there's a bunch of little callbacks. You see Chucky sawing his way out of the box with a knife. And you're like, oh my God, he's going to get Andy! He's going to get Andy! And Andy turns around with a freaking shotgun and is like, play with this. And blows Chucky's head off.
So, I want to say at the end, I did not realize how little Alex Vincent was in this movie when
Me
we
either.
decided to do this episode.
Yeah.
I wanted to do an episode celebrating Alex Vincent because he was great, and it was, one of the best weekends of my life hanging out with him. And then I chose, he's in it.
No, we had waited to do this until after Carolina Fear Fest because we knew Alex Vincent was going to be there. And we had a great weekend at Carolina Fear Fest and got to spend a bit of time with Alex Vincent, and he was a really cool dude. And
should have done the original.
But this was, I'm going to say, I was not disappointed in this movie. It was...
No, it's a good movie.
It is a good movie. I love that they brought it back to horror. I love the gothic horror in it. I enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, also, it's kind of wild for me to watch a movie twice in a couple days. And, when we watched it earlier today, I was like, no, still like it.
Yeah, it's...
Not mad that I'm watching it again.
Usually, the second time in a couple days, we're picking it the fuck apart.
Yeah, and there's some stuff to pick apart. Mostly the writing. We love you guys, and good night.